Okay, we ran through a list of accolades for you at the beginning, but I'm sure your comment would be, it doesn't matter without the win. You've seen this offense really grow, and you knew what it could be before, when you got here, or before you got here. Can you just point to some of the things tonight's game that you saw in the offense that can give fans an idea of what they can expect in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we ran the ball well. We ran the ball better than we have been, which is a big positive. I thought the offensive line played well. I don't know if we had, I don't remember getting sacked. Did I get sacked?
Once.
Yeah.
Against a team that I think averages 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, what they do defensively and up front is different than what other teams do, and I thought that the offensive line did a great job. Pass pro, run game, the receivers did a nice job on all the short stuff. First half we had to throw a lot of underneath stuff, and they were making plays and stuff like that, so, that was a positive. I felt like the offensive line played really well. I'm super proud of those guys up front.
Question?
When you're down 24-3, I think there was, at least it appears, there was still a belief there that you could get back in the game, and not only did you do that, but you took the lead a couple of times. What do you attribute that fight to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we cared about the score and, winning and losing games, but, when you're at that point and, your back's really against the wall, you're 4-6, you're down by 21 at home in the first quarter, you got nothing to lose at that point. And, we're never going to be a team that just lays down, and I think, we showed that tonight for sure, and, earlier in the season against Navy, and, we got a bunch of fighters, and, guys aren't gonna quit until the fat lady sings and the clock hits 0, so, just really proud of the way that we fought back. We never flinched, had our first couple of drives obviously didn't go the way we wanted them to, and we were able to respond, and, the second quarter and the second half, it seemed like we were, scoring, at a high rate, and, just, again, we say it every week, we gotta cut the turnovers. I think we lost the turnover margin, 2-0. I know, we had an interception and a fumble, so, that's been the story of the year,
Were you personally shocked when Coach decided to go for it on 4th down at your own 10?
Kind of. I mean, it was, I run the plays that are called, and he called a great play. It was, clear as day, man. Easton did a great job in his pick. Tom ran a great route. Had time, so worked out.
Caden, obviously you've had your chemistry with Messer, but you've seen major strides from down here in Asaka, growing into weapons in this offense. What have you seen from those two that have allowed them to become effective in this offense and help you guys make big plays time and time again?
Yeah, every day they put their head down, they work. They don't care about the results. They care about their process, and they're very detail oriented, and it shows up. Because I think Dom had a stretch of games where he was really quiet, and then all of a sudden he'll have a really great one. And that's just part of the offense. And then Assad, he really cares. He really cares about this place, this team. And it really makes him mad, when we don't win. And those are the kind of guys that you need to have in the program, when you're trying to turn it around. And, I walked in the locker room and I mean, he's in full-blown tears after the game. And I think that's just kind of how we're feeling as a collective unit, but, he's definitely, that guy that just really cares.
So how are you guys expecting, because you still have one more game left, for that bounce back? What are you pointing out of yourself and how the team as a whole looking ahead to next week?
Yeah, just we gotta lay it all on the line for one more week. For the seniors, I'm heartbroken for these guys that said last year. I feel like I haven't played well enough, all season, and I'm heartbroken for the seniors, and I hug every single one of them after the game. But in terms of East Carolina, we just gotta go to work. We got nothing to lose and everything to play for this week. So, just excited to get back to work tomorrow. Watch tape, you know, got to send seniors out that way.
Caden, what goes into that 17-yard rushing touchdown? Where it feels like you kind of front flip into the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, when you're down by, I don't even remember, I think we were down 14 at that point. You know, like I said, when your back's against the wall, sometimes you gotta lay your body on the line. You know, that's what that was. We need to get in the end zone.
Do you feel like you guys have been able to kind of build a foundation offensively? A lot of year ones are all around the team, but especially on offense. Do you feel like there's a foundation built for potentially next season and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is. I'm not too worried about it right now. Just trying to focus on East Carolina, but I do think that we have the pieces on the roster right now. Obviously, it's easy to say, but I do think we have the pieces to be really, really good, and we're right there. We're so close. And games like these, they're just heartbreaking. But I do think that we have the right pieces and the right people in the program going into next season for sure.
Caden, let's talk about your development as a quarterback all year. Obviously, you know you have the skills. Passing 494 yards is great, and your ability to run the football is even better. But let's talk about you personally. What did you really gain this year when you put together your collective body of work? And listen, even should you beat East Carolina, it's not impossible for a team that wins 5 games to not get picked by a bowl based on the academic progress, right? And is that something you're looking for? Shoot for?
Yeah, I think I've really had to, this season, obviously, looking back on it, it didn't start the way I wanted to. And then we've won the games that we're supposed to win, that we're favored in, and we've lost games that we're not. And my job as the quarterback is to win games. So, sitting here at 4-7, I'm not necessarily happy, but at the end of the day, I got to look back at not the results, but how I prepared and my preparation and what I could have done better. Obviously I need to cut down on the turnovers going into next season for sure, but yeah, like I said, I got to look back at my process and was my process good enough during the week? In the off season, did I do the right things? I have to focus more on that than what the result of the season was.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, the